In today's episode, we take a look at the impact the turmoil in Ukraine is having on the grain market, an update on Wisconsin's implements of husbandry legislation, the outlook for Canadian ag equipment sales, and Artsway's latest earnings report. I'm Kim Schmidt, Managing Editor. Welcome to On the Record. After news that Russian troops had entered Ukraine last Friday, corn prices in the U.S. shot up 3.5%, according to Colvin & Company, an agriculture investment firm. The firm says the 2.3% increase seen on Monday was one of the largest day-to-day gains in the past 2 years. If the conflict between Ukraine and Russia continues, it could have a large impact on grain prices this year, as Ukraine was the third largest exporter of corn and the sixth largest exporter of wheat in 2013, according to the International Grain Council. A source we spoke with said the situation is still too volatile to predict what impact it will have on the ag equipment industry. But this could be good news for the U.S. ag industry, as high grain prices would improve farmer confidence. We'll follow up in the next several days to bring you more information. The Wisconsin state legislature came back into session this week. It is likely the controversial Implements of Husbandry bill will be voted on sometime during this floor period, which ends March 20th. The bill would require more permitting for combines and other single-axle equipment. If passed, the bill could have a ripple effect in other states, says Mark McConnell, president of the Farm Equipment Manufacturers Association and vice chairman of Artsway Manufacturing.
We as manufacturers are as interested as anyone on the safety and the maintenance of the roads that we all travel and the towns that we live in, but it is in our mind, it really requires the proper study to learn that what they would like to do would have the desired effect that would help everybody. So that's an issue that we will all be watching very closely in 2014.
The biggest concern is, if passed, there would be a maximum single-axle weight limit of 23,000 pounds. The bill would require dealers to provide certain weight information to their customers. Wisconsin State Representative Joan Ballwig, co-owner of Ballwig Implement, a John Deere dealership, says dealers would need to invest in scales in order to provide any information on the axle weights. Scales could cost anywhere from $3,000 to $6,000. A committee vote was scheduled in the state Senate on March 6th on amendments to the bill. On March 5th, Representative Ballwig and a group of Republican lawmakers introduced a new piece of legislation as a temporary fix to the current policy. This bill eliminates the per-axle weight limit.
Well, the original bill that has been worked out by Senator Petrowski and Representative Rip has some responsibilities for dealers to start reporting the weights of equipment that people purchase. This bill is silent on that. What this bill is doing is saying, let's just make sure that people can farm this year without specialized enforcement.
Despite a record-breaking year for crops and high times over the last 5 years, Canada's farm equipment dealers and all farm equipment manufacturers serving Canada could see sales slow down in 2014. Agriculture Canada is forecasting a 5% decline in Canadian farm income in 2014 to $12.6 billion, which would be 23% above the average for the 2008 to 2012 period. Crop receipts are forecast to total $29.1 billion in 2014, 3% below the projection for 2013. A backlog in rail transport due to the priority being given to oil is causing problems for farmers in Western Canada who are unable to get their crops to market. Agriculture Canada says this is contributing to lower grain prices and higher stocks. Ben Chernievsky, analyst with Raymond James, says although favorable market conditions have supported robust demand for farm equipment over the past couple of years, there has been no shortage of equipment supply. On the contrary, dealer inventories remain at generally elevated levels, particularly in the used category. This largely reflects aggressive OEM sales incentives and the related trade inactivity that is an inherent part of almost every transaction for agriculture equipment. He also pointed to Deere's forecast for North American ag equipment sales to be down 5 to 10% as a reason to take a more cautious outlook for dealer sales. But he does caution that Deere's outlook tends to be very U.S. and corn-centric. Raymond James lowered its earnings per share estimates for Canadian farm equipment dealers, Rocky Mountain dealerships, and service. After many years of short supply and high prices for ag tires, prices are on the decline for both OEM equipment and aftermarket, thanks to reduced raw material costs. The price of natural rubber is down about 50%, says Maury Taylor, chairman and CEO of Titan International. As a result, he says farm tire prices could be down as much as 20%. The lower prices have meant production costs have dropped for equipment manufacturers, Taylor says.
A lot of product Deere buys all dropped in pricing in 2013. But Deere didn't reduce the price of anything. Neither did CNH, and neither did AGCO, because there's a big demand for their product.
In addition to reduced raw material prices, manufacturers have added capacity, and there's been an increase in competition from abroad, which have also contributed to the lower prices. On February 25th, Artsway Manufacturing reported its results for the fourth quarter and fiscal year ending November 30th, 2013. Total net sales fell 6.1% for the year, but total ag sector sales were $28.19 million versus $24.72 million in 2012, an increase of 12%. And now from the Ag Equipment Archives, we go back to 1977. Versatile introduces the Versatile 150, the world's first bidirectional tractor. At this time, Versatile was an independent operation not yet associated with Buehler Industries. It's billed as the first push-pull tractor and marketed as a number of self-propelled machines in one. The seat and console of the tractor could swivel 180 degrees within the cab. If you have any suggestions on stories that you'd like to see covered, send me an email at kschmidt@lespub.com. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.